intersection of good drinks, good music, and good times. This is Hops and Spirits Bar Conversations.
As we inch closer to 200 episodes of Bar Conversations, we have a fun guest for you. He's a singer-songwriter. He's got a brand new album that by the time this episode actually drops will be out for you to listen to. It's called Colors Fade. Let's welcome in Connor Daly.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Like you said, you got a lot going on. Got the new album that by the time this episode drops will be out. I know we'll get to that here in a second, but this is Bar Conversations. So I always got to start it off wondering, what are you drinking tonight?
So I'm a big cider guy. Unfortunately, I'm gluten-free, which is really sad. I can't drink beer. So I drink a lot of ciders. This one's Potter's craft cider. Pretty good.
Nice. I like that. Well, I'm sorry that you don't get to go crazy on the beer and probably other spirit. Can you do any other spirits with the gluten free, or is it pretty much just ciders and things like that?
No, I can drink any liquor or spirits. It's all gluten free.
Okay. I was like, I never thought of it that way. So now, do you drink any of the other spirits, or you more just stay with the cider? That's something you really enjoy.
I mean, I love a good cider. I'll probably always choose a cider, but I also love Moscow Mules, which is vodka. So that's pretty much the only spirit I drink. I do not like whiskey. Not a big tequila guy, but yeah.
I will put the whiskey bottle back then.
Bring out the whiskey. That was perfect timing.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I got a little Daviess County medium toasted barrel finish, but no, I enjoy a good cocktail too. So I like that you go with the Moscow Mule. Jazz up the vodka a little bit.
Oh yeah. It's simple but effective. It's good. Tastes good.
I like it. Now, I know music is your career now, and you also enjoy cider now, but you didn't always do music only growing up, right? You played a lot of sports. Is that true?
Yeah, I was definitely sports first, and music was kind of on the side for a while. I grew up playing pretty much anything I could. I was always outside playing with my friends, whether it was like football or just running around being stupid or throwing like a frisbee or pretty much anything. I'd be outside playing. And then I played baseball pretty much growing up until I was about 12 or 13. And then in high school, I was on the golf team, which was very cool. My dad actually golfed at the Naval Academy in college, so he's a big golfer, and lucky enough, he put me with a swing coach when I was young, so I got a decent swing. So I golfed in high school, which was a lot of fun. But my main sport was track and field. I threw the discus, and I was actually a runner my freshman year of high school, and I was always running by the throwers, like just dying at the end of a run. I was like, this is not fun. So then the throwers were just like standing there eating some food, chucking some discuses, which looked more appealing to me at the time. So I tried out for that my sophomore year, and I made the team. And then by senior year, I won states, the Virginia 5A state championship in the discus throw. And then I competed at George Mason University on the track and field team. So not too much music through a lot of that time. It was mostly sports, but I did eventually, get into music as you now see me here.
I was gonna say, I was gonna ask you how you got into discus, but it makes a ton of sense that you're like, this running thing, that ain't for me.
Yeah, no. It was fun while it lasted. My sister was on the team. She did cross country and then she ran track. So I did cross country and then I ran track. And then she graduated, and I was like, I'm done running. So it was a smooth transition into throwing, it was a nice time.
I was going to say, and it seems to work out well. Now, you mentioned golf. Do you still get to play golf? Are you able to, fit in 9 holes here or maybe 18 there?
Yeah, I definitely want to get out more than I typically do. I'm sure everybody does. I hit the range a couple times a month. Maybe I'll play once or twice a month during the warm months. I'm trying to get better, trying to bring the handicap down, but I always enjoy it.
Hey, it sounds like you're already doing better than me getting out to play. I finally Fourth of July weekend, got out on the golf course for the first time all year. I ended up playing Saturday and Sunday, and after Saturday, my muscles were like, "Why did you do this to us? You haven't done this in a year," and it hurt.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually I went on a golf trip to Scotland about a month and a half ago, which was a lot of fun. I did try some whiskey there, so that's where I realized I do not like whiskey. It was hard to get down, but I enjoyed it. But the golf was great. We played 8 rounds of golf in 7 days, so it was the most golf I've ever played. And like you said, my body was hurting after the 7th day of golf. But it was fun.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Good times, good memories, but also sore at the same time.
Yeah. Yep. You betcha. Yeah.
Now you mentioned you didn't really get into music in terms of kind of what you're doing nowadays, but you've had a love for music though, if I'm not mistaken, because you started playing piano in 3rd grade. Is that right?
I think it was about 3rd grade. Maybe before that. I'm not even sure. It was all a blur back then when I was a kid. But I played for probably 4 or 5 years as a child. Took lessons and everything. I enjoyed it. I was pretty good, and then I just kind of stopped. And I didn't really do too much musical things for a few years, and then eventually took up guitar in 7th grade when they offered it as a program. So that's where I kind of started with guitar from 7th grade.
Now, it was more classical guitar though, right? It wasn't kind of like what we might think of a country guy on stage. It was classical guitar is what you dove into first.
Yeah, yep. It was all classical guitar, which was cool in itself, but very different from what I do now and like what I started doing like in college and stuff like that. But I did learn all the basics and the techniques of finger picking and left hand positions, stuff like that. So there were definitely a lot of benefits to it, but I definitely kind of changed paths. But it definitely got me started on the right foot.
Now, the one thing I haven't heard yet is, singing. I mentioned you're a singer-songwriter, all that. When did the singing come into play, and did a karaoke game kind of give you a clue that you could maybe sing?
Yeah. I never really tried to sing growing up or anything. But like you mentioned, I did play a karaoke game with my friends when I was probably 10 years old. And I remember a time where there was like a note that they couldn't hit low or something. And like in my mind, I was like, it's easy, just go an octave up and hit it. But I don't think that they knew to like do that. So I guess it was kind of natural music. I don't know. I'm not sure what the right term is. But I always knew that I could hit notes, I guess. So when I started writing songs, I guess that helped out, being able to hit notes. But I've come a long way. Even in the past 4 years, I've committed a lot of time to practicing, and just like any other muscle in the body, it's a muscle, and you can get better and improve it.
I was going to ask you, are there any videos from back then? I think of like Ed Sheeran when, that he played, I don't know if it was Graham Norton or one of them, like his very first song when he was like 12 or 13 and he couldn't hit a single note correctly. And, you look at him now. Is there any video, you got from back there that, anyone could dig up on you?
For sure, there are a few. Luckily, I don't think anybody can dig them up but myself. They're very deep in on my camera roll on my phone. And if I can help it, they're never going to see the light of day. I'm just going to keep them. Yeah. I mean, it is good to kind of see your progress, where you've come, but some things you just don't need to show. And that's one of them. Yeah.
Now, was anyone else in your family musical, or like was music kind of a part of your family growing up? Because I feel like piano, guitar, things like that. I feel like someone had to have at least music in their blood, or always on.
Yeah, I would say more my dad's side was a little bit more musical. We always joke because pretty much nobody on my mom's side of the family like plays any instrument or can hit any notes like trying to sing or anything. So it's always funny to bring up. But my dad played trombone, which is actually very difficult to play. it's hard to write a song on a trombone, but he's brought it out a few times, and it's cool to watch him, try to get it back. Yeah, he was in the jazz band, so and my grandma's actually pretty musical on my dad's side too. Other than that, there's nobody that really does too much music related activities in my family.
I can't believe you didn't want to go into the trombone. I mean, I feel like you missed out.
Yeah, he was trying. He was trying really hard. I actually played trumpet for 1 year in 6th grade, and it was fun. It was a fun time, but I cut it off pretty quick. I went to guitar the next year, which was one of the best decisions ever.
I was gonna say, I feel like you have a knack for when to know to move on to the right thing, whether it was from trumpet to guitar, track, to discus. I mean, you seem to got a good knack for that.
Yeah, it's definitely a good skill to have. That's for sure. Yeah.
Now, country music, where does that come in? Because I heard jazz band, I heard different things like that. Country music, was that something you picked up maybe in the car on the way to school? Is that how that all came about?
Yeah, pretty much. So I never really listened to country. My family was not a big country listening family. But my sister in high school, she loved country music. She was all over the modern day country, but this was like 2013 or 2012, 2013 country music. And like I mentioned earlier, we went to the same high school. So she was a senior, I was a freshman. So she was driving me to school every single day. And since she was driving the car, she had access to play the music. So she would always play all the country songs. And I didn't want to listen to them at first, but just like anybody who listens to country enough, you kind of get into it, even if you don't want to. From that point on, I actually started listening to it by myself, by choice, a lot of the time, all throughout high school, all throughout college, and that's kind of where I've my music has kind of gone towards a little bit on the country-ish kind of side of the road.
I was gonna say, I completely understand. I played golf in college, and when we drive to different places to kind of practice during the winter months, the guy that drove was a huge country fan, and I wasn't at the time. But like you said, if you're driving, typically you're in charge of the radio and music, and lo and behold, that got me a little bit into it. And then my wife kind of pushed me full into this crazy thing called country music.
Yeah. Yep. That's how it happens. It'll get you by surprise. You got to watch out.
It's true. Now, you mentioned you got into country music. Before that, though, what were you kind of listening to? I mean, was it just kind of all things, or?
Pretty much anything for the most part. Anything besides country at that point, I guess. I don't know. I listened to a lot of Ed Sheeran. It was probably my favorite artist growing up. I knew pretty much all of his songs. I did listen to some Eminem.
There you go.
But, I don't think that shaped me too much as a musician. But that was always an enjoyable listen. But Ed Sheeran was probably my top choice growing up.
Were there any other artists, obviously, as you've kind of, gone down the path of all sorts of music and got into it maybe even deeper as you're an artist now? Any other artists that made an impact on you and you can kind of trace some things back to?
Yeah, for sure. So ever since I started songwriting, which is almost 6 years at this point, I started to listen to more thoroughly at the lyrics, in a song, the storyline in a song, just because that's kind of what I was interested in writing in my music. So I wanted to listen to some songs with good storylines and lyrics and hooks like that. So an artist that I started listening to a few years back is Jason Isbell. I know he's been around for a long time, and I was late to the party on him, but I truly love a lot of his stuff. He's an amazing writer. I just fell in love with his songs. I actually saw him in concert. When was this? A month ago, which was a great experience.
I like that. And then I know you while you're in Nashville now, I believe you grew up though in Northern Virginia. What impact did that have on you? Because I don't feel like country music's huge there. You got a lot of other different influences that are around up in Northern Virginia.
Yeah. One thing that prepared me to live in Nashville from Northern Virginia is definitely the traffic. There's so much traffic around DC, the Beltway around DC, all the highways around there. So I was definitely prepared on the traffic front for Nashville. But I thought it was a great place to grow up. A lot of good friends, good opportunities growing up there, great schools. But yeah, like you said, people, it wasn't like, not everybody listened to country and not everybody listened to like pop or something like that. It was just kind of, there's a lot of different kind of people, which was cool to grow up around.
I was gonna say you get an eclectic mix that way, and you know, for you though, you didn't dive straight into a music career out of college. I know you went and were able to do some track and field, and I believe got your degree as well. You decided to go the auditing route first of all things. That seems not exciting.
Yeah, it's about exciting as you made it just sound. Um, so my major was criminology throughout school, which I really enjoyed learning about, but I was kind of hoping I would do something with investigations or intelligence, still within like the government or something like that, and then maybe eventually law enforcement or something down the road. I wasn't really sure.
I was gonna say that sounds exciting though.
That yeah, the stuff after yeah. Well, that stuff sounds exciting. Yeah. But I got an internship my last year of college at it was a temporary government organization. It's called Special Inspector General for Pandemic Recovery. And I was in the Office of Audits, so we were auditing different loans that were sent out by the government during the pandemic, during COVID, which was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about audits that I did not know throughout that internship. And then once I graduated, I kind of wanted to get the foot in the door type deal. So I got offered a position at that organization, which I was lucky to get. I had a great time there, and they had a sunset date because they were a temporary organization. So they had a hard sunset date, so then they had to start letting people go. And since I was the last in, I was the first out. But during my time there, I was working really hard on the music kind of under the rug in the background, which nobody knew about. But I was able to kind of get to a point where once they let me go, this was this past September, at the end of this past September, I decided to give music a real go and just really jump in and see what happens. So it's exciting.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, you know, to take that jump in, what was it like to kind of go full in? Because were you doing gigs and things like in the meantime while you were working there? I mean, at least staying, you know, sharp, I guess, so to speak, on how to perform and do those things.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was playing probably close to every weekend at different wineries or breweries or random shows up in the Northern Virginia area. And then most of my time in my apartment, I was writing songs or learning random things on the guitar or doing social media stuff. So a lot of the time that I was not working there, I was doing music stuff. So I like to think I kind of got to a certain like a good level before, you know, actually jumping as opposed to just going in with no real knowledge yet. So I think it was a good time to do it.
I was gonna say, what was it like when you decided to give it a full go? Because I mean, you know, it's different when you maybe have that little bit of ability to fall back into a job or something. But you know, like you said, that had sunsetted, you were out, and now it's music.
Yeah, it's been something so far. It definitely feels more official now that I've moved to Nashville for it, which is a very exciting step. I actually moved down just last week, so I haven't even been here a week now. But so there's boxes everywhere. This is a complete makeshift little desk background for the interview. There's boxes everywhere. But It's been fun. It's been kind of cool to put all of my energy into something that I love to do, which is a good thing and a bad thing, I'm sure. But I've enjoyed it, and I hope that this is just kind of the start, and I'm gonna go further in as time progresses in the next few months, year, couple years. Excited to see where it goes.
Well, I was gonna say, like you said, you just moved down there. You were basically going back and forth between Northern Virginia and Nashville. I'm guessing that's not a short drive, because I can't imagine there's a good way to get there.
There is no good way. So, I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with 81. Just goes straight up the Appalachian Mountains. So it's a very relaxing drive, but it's also 9.5 hours. So it takes up most of the day when you choose to drive. The flight's not too bad, but I didn't fly but more than just a few times. So I got very familiar with the drive very, very fast. But it's not too bad. It's not bad.
That's good. That's good. What made you decide to stick with Nashville and just give it a go and move down there full time?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, I was doing a good amount of stuff here for the past year or so. I was coming down probably once a month for the past year. Even while I was working, some weekends I would come down here and get some stuff done. So that was a fun time. But yeah, the stuff that I was doing down here, I was recording some music with a really cool producer who's producing half of the album that's coming out. His name's William Galway. He has a company called Charlotte Avenue Entertainment, and it's a husband-wife duo, and they've been super helpful, kind of getting me to this point, and kind of showing me what to do and kind of where to go, because I was really new to this even just a year ago. So it's not really nice to have some real help, kind of pointing fingers and saying you need this, you need that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing the past. A lot of trips down here was getting the album ready, production wise and stuff like that.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, the album, by the time this episode airs, will be out. How cool is it to say that?
It's been a long time coming, that's for sure. But I'm super proud of it, and I'm super excited that people will finally be able to hear all the songs that I think really represent me as an artist. I'm excited to have it out there in the world. It's going to be fun.
Well, I was going to say, it's an interesting collection, because you have a little bit of everything on there that I think lets people see who you are. So what can folks expect on Colors Fade when they get to give it a listen?
Oh, man. I always loved albums that are not like the same song 12 times. There's some good variation in there. So I think that's one thing that should help set me apart a little bit, and that's one thing I take pride in my record, is that there's some really stripped down songs with some finger picking at the which is like the main kind of base of the song, and then there's also some songs that are really rocking with a rocking guitar solo. So for people who are going to listen to the album, expect a little bit of everything. Some relationship songs, of course. If you're into that, there's always got to be a few of those on there. Some heartbreak, some happy relationship, some songs about loss in life, and pretty much the fact that nothing lasts forever. That's the title track. It's Colors Fade, and nothing bright lasts forever. So,
like I said, I think folks will enjoy it. Like you said, there's a lot on there for people to actually kind of get to know who you are. One of the first releases from the album, one that I've enjoyed, is Ain't Got a Cape. How did that song come to be?
That one is definitely a different song compared to a lot of my other songs, which is a good thing. So pretty much all my songs, when I start writing the song, I lay down a little guitar, which in my head is kind of like the base or foundation of the song. Just get some like chords or the kind of feel like if you want to write like an upbeat or whatever, you just kind of lay it down on the guitar. And then, so I started with kind of the sad, dark toned guitar picking, which is on Ain't Got a Cape. and then I started humming a melody. I put my phone down, hit record on the audio app, and then just started humming a melody. And the first few lines kind of came out. And by that point, I wasn't exactly sure where the song was going to go. But once I kind of came up with the idea for a song based around mental health, I thought that there's no better time to write a song like that than, in today's world. And it's different from all my other songs. And I felt like a lot of people would be able to relate to it, which is really important in music, I think. So yeah, like I said, it's very different from a lot of my other songs. It's a lot more sad, but it also is very meaningful too, and it means a lot to me, and I hope it means a lot to anybody who would listen.
Well, and then you were able to film a music video for that song. What was it like to kind of maybe bring that story to life?
Yeah. I think a good song is able to paint like a vivid picture. So in my head, that song just always stuck out to me for a music video. Like I just could always see different images and scenes just like random in my head whenever I was listening to that song. So we decided to do a music video for that song because it was one of my favorites, and I think it is one of those songs that was really begging for a music video on top of the audio track. So I recorded the music video with the same company that I mentioned earlier. William Galway, he is a director as well. So he directs videos and produces music. So we did some songs with him, and then he also directed the Ain't Got a Cape music video. We had a great team. We recorded some parts in Nashville, down by the trains in Nashville, and then the other half we recorded in Ashland City, which is like 25 minutes west of Nashville, which was a great time. And if anybody's seen the video out there, it is a full production looking video because the Ashland City Fire and Police Departments also were able to give their time to help out, and they brought a fire truck, a couple squad cars, and turned on all the lights. It was a night that I'm not going to forget, but I think the video turned out great, and hope people are enjoying it.
I was gonna say, like I said, that getting to see the visuals, listening to the song, that was one of my favorites off there. Another fun one, or at least one that I enjoyed, was your duet with Mary Heather Hickman, "Fake One Tear." How did that kind of collaboration come, and to have a duet on there, on the album, it had to be kind of something a little different than the other songs.
Yeah. So all my songs on the album, I wrote all by myself, sitting in my apartment in Northern Virginia. But this is the one song where I came down for a Nashville trip, and it was like a co-writing trip. So I did a few co-writes that week, and this was one of the songs that I decided to take in. I only had like the first verse, chorus, but the night before I went into the co-write, I decided to kind of make it a duet to see if the other writers would like that idea. And one of the writers was a girl, so I figured she would be able to help me tell the other side of the story from the girl's perspective. So, but I went in there with Jennifer Hart and Robert Ricotta, and we came out with a song that got a spot on the album, and I think it turned out great. It's a beautiful duet, and Mary Heather Hickman sings on it. She her voice is outstanding, and I followed her on social media for a while, and she followed me, but we never connected or anything. But I reached out, and she decided to send her the song and everything, and she decided to sing on the track. I think it turned out really great.
I think so too. Like I said, it's cool to see all the different things you were able to put in the album Colors Fade, and you talk about how you wanted to be kind of a storyteller with the songs, and kind of transport people into them and let them kind of see the music. For you in writing songs, where does those ideas come from? Is it from experiences, ideas? How does all that work for you?
Yeah, it's a good question. For me, I don't experience too many things. My life has always been relatively boring, so nothing too exciting happens in my life that's worth writing a song about.
You mean you can't write one about auditing?
I'm sure you could. I'm sure it wouldn't be great. I'm not sure if it would have made the album. So I didn't even try it. But I mean, I kind of get ideas, not like complete ideas, but just kind of different feelings and different starts of songs from either just thinking about things and just like imagining what songs could be written about, or if I watch like a TV show or something, or like a movie. I'm a big TV show and movie guy. So I love a good story in a movie or TV show, and I've definitely got a lot of inspiration from stuff like that, from watching other people's creative ideas.
Now, how many notes do you have recorded on your phone?
Oh, I could check that for you. Hang on. It's a big number.
Because I'm guessing you have voice recordings, and then do you just have like on the Notes app just random thoughts that also pop into your head?
Oh yeah. I got a bunch of notes too. But voice memos, I have 8,266 voice memos. So I have every song that I've ever written, and then every different melody or lyric or whatever that I had for each song. Like each song's beginning, birthplace is stored on my phone in the audio, which is pretty cool. Sometimes I like to go back and listen to it. It's fun.
I was gonna say that is awesome. Now, did you have to get like the extended cloud service storage? Because I feel like that takes up a lot of space.
Surprisingly, no. I'm not a big technology guy, so I'm not too sure about storage and clouds. But I haven't gotten any message or error yet that I need more storage. So I'm just gonna keep rocking and rolling until that day comes.
Hey, you're doing better than me. I've gotten that. Mine pops up that it hasn't backed up in like 551 days. So
okay, that seems long. Yeah.
yeah. Videos tend to take up a lot of space. Maybe I should go the voice recording route on the phone.
Probably a good idea. Yeah, for sure.
Now, I think I read this somewhere. Did you talk about songwriting, and you've kind of really dove into it the last 5-6 years, but I feel like you wanted to dive into it back when you were younger. Did you really try to get your friends to come over one day to write songs when you were like 12 or 13?
Yeah, I did that a handful of times. I'm not sure why, but no. But like I said before, I played the piano growing up, so I was much better at piano back then than guitar. I did have a guitar, but I would just do Smoke on the Water, stuff like that. So I was always on the piano, even like when my friends would come over. And I was confused as to why they would never be quite as interested in the idea of writing a song. I was like, why don't you want to write a song? It sounds so fun. But they never wanted to. I think we tried it maybe once or twice, but the song did not get finished. And I did not complete a full song when I was that age.
I really was hopeful that you might have, and that might be one of the songs that one day sees life.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I have like parts of songs that I still remember, but I think that's as far as they're gonna go.
All right, that's fair. Now, I know you said over 8,000 voice recordings in your phone, so I'm guessing part of those 8,000 are some of the well over 100 songs that you have actually fully finished writing. And you're still creating more, so I guess you still got some creativity left to go?
I would like to think that my creativity is just kind of starting. Especially moving to Nashville, I hope to have some good creative ideas in the next few years. And I think one thing that helps me maintain creativity would be that I try not to think too much when I'm writing. That's a big factor. When I'm sitting down with the guitar, I just kind of let the melody and guitar speak for itself and just try not to think too much about it. And songwriting's always been more of just kind of like a feel thing for me, which sounds interesting, but that's always when the best songs kind of come out. So I'm gonna stick true to that method and keep going.
I was gonna say, it seems to be working out pretty well for you. Like I said, I've enjoyed what I've gotten to hear off of Colors Fade so far. And this is one of my favorite questions to ask. I ask at every show. For you, what's your favorite song to perform these days, whether it's one of your own or maybe someone else's that every now and then you bring out?
Oh, man. I guess my own right now. It's a single that I've already put out. It's one of my favorite to play live so far. It's called Get Used to This. I'm a huge fan of like pretty songs, I guess you would say. And it's always been one of my favorite melodies and instrumentals. And when you play live, it actually gets moving pretty good by the end. So it's pretty rocking a little bit too, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, and then I guess a cover song would be "Cover Me Up" by Jason Isbell. It's a classic song.
I feel like that's a cop-out, because isn't that on the album?
No.
Okay. I thought there was one on the album like that.
No.
Okay.
I wish. Maybe next album.
There we go. Well, no, and I love asking that, because honestly, your reaction of, ooh, so many people have that, because they all have maybe a couple songs they like, but I also love to hear that, like you said, sometimes the songs that once they leave the album, you can have a little bit of fun with them, play around with it a little bit more, and make that live version just a little bit extra.
Exactly. Yeah, it's fun to kind of play with it, once you record it, and then you go out and start like playing them live. So, yeah.
And then obviously, the album's out now. You've put a ton of work into that. Like you said, it's been something that's been going on for a good little while now. What else can folks expect from you the rest of the year?
So, since I'm a relatively new artist, I haven't had too much music out. I put out a few singles last year. But as we mentioned, I was still working in the Office of Audits in the government. So a lot has changed since then. I've now moved to Nashville. I'm putting out an album. So I really hope to kind of get out and start playing that music. Throughout like the process of creating the album, it's so easy to get unattached from the music itself. Like you're kind of working everything like around the music, but you kind of forget to actually like that you're doing music, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm excited to kind of get back to that and hopefully start playing live. I got a few festivals booked, a few radio shows booked, and I hope to fill in the year a little bit. But as far as actual tours go, I'm hoping next year I can get a real scheduled tour going. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I was going to say, you got a good start with the album, Colors Fade. Like I said, folks, it's out now. By the time this episode drops, it's worth the listen. Ain't Got a Cape. If you haven't seen the music video, I definitely recommend that. And Connor, thanks for sharing a drink with me, man, and telling a little bit about yourself.
Cheers. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on.
Find more from Hops and Spirits at hopspirits.com.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.